Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Comics on Canes. My name is Michael Yo. By the way, before we get to the podcast, I want to let you know in 2 weeks, October 17th and 18th, I will be performing in Orlando at the Funny Bone. Funny Bone, Orlando. All you Kane fans, because I saw the numbers. We got a lot of Kane fans that live in Orlando. Come on out to the show. Let's throw up the U, baby. Orlando, January 17th and 18th. I will be there. Make sure you come out to the show. Now, we got Forrest here. Last podcast, it kind of went out. It went out on us.
Yeah.
I had computer issues. That was totally my bad. Today, that's not going to happen. I was on my wife's computer. It wasn't made to broadcast. We are live. Any comments you have, please leave it in the comment section. We will read them on the air. Now, Forrest, I got to let you know before we even start. My wife said, I only can do this podcast today for 40 minutes. For 40 minutes. So we got to get everything in 40 minutes. Let's start with our final thoughts about Gidry because the last podcast cut out. I'll let you start. You can go on a tangent, go as long as you want, but give me your final thoughts on Gidry, and then we won't talk about him anymore.
I'm not going to go very long. I'm just going to say that, you mentioned I never like gloat and people getting fired. I mean, I'm not going to gloat either. But I will say, did he have all the talent he needed? Maybe not. But he didn't make any adjustments. The adjustments he made were not good. If I'm not a defensive coordinator, and if I'm seeing what you did and yelling at the screen and being like, what? I just wasn't the guy for the job. And maybe he'll work out somewhere else. Good luck to him. But I am glad that we're moving on because I wish we did sooner. We arguably wasted, just that offense, any defense that I've seen in the playoffs or in any bowl game, if we had any of those, we'd win the national championship. But anyway,
what's honestly crazy?
Yeah.
Forrest, you're right. And I really do. But this year, I feel like anybody could have won the national championship. There was no clear number one. You saw Oregon get stomped. They were supposedly number one. There is no clear number one. I feel that with a defense, this year's Miami Hurricane team, with not even a great defense, just a defense, would have been still in the playoffs, in the semifinals, and I think would have made a run for it, like a serious run because nobody could stop our offense. I don't care who you are. Cam Ward is such a different level, and I feel you, Miami Hurricane fans. I see you checking in right now. I feel you. You're like, we just wasted a year with Cam Ward. I agree and disagree. Yes, do I wish we could have went on? Yes. But, man, it was, for me as a fan that's seen nothing but failure the last 22 years, it was exciting to watch. I was so excited to see every Saturday's game. So it brought me some joy. I will say that. But, yeah, I feel like, we would still be in the playoffs if we had somewhat of a defense. Now,
here's a question before we move on. Other than FAMU, if you had the defense on any of the teams we played, other than FAMU, are we in the playoffs at least, would you say?
I would say, what's another small school we played?
South Florida.
Okay.
Ball
you know
State.
what? Okay, let me ask you this. Out of the teams we played, whose defense would you want?
Well, one of the rumored defensive coordinators that's swirling around, Georgia Tech. They held us the least amount of points. I mean, for whatever reason.
I think they're trying to get the Georgia Tech guy just so we won't have to play. Like when we play him again, we'll be prepared.
Georgia Tech. I don't know. Maybe Georgia Tech's probably the best team.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. 818 Callie Kane. What's up, Yo and Shaw? Thank you so much for watching. Remember, please like the podcast. Please subscribe. If you want to leave a super chat, you'll get a shout out, a special shout out as well. That means a lot to the show. All right, but I haven't gone on my Gidry tangent, so this is the last time you're going to hear me pretty much talk about Gidry because I got cut out the last podcast. I wish they would have done it sooner, like Forrest. I don't know how it would have worked out, but I would have felt better about it. They could have had the same defense, but Gidry would have been gone, and I would have been fine. All right. De'Ani Hill, a lot of people are leaving. De'Ani Hill, you got, what's the other defensive back? Jaden Harris?
Jaden Harris is,
He's out. He's out too. Now, look, these are somebody's kids, so I'm not going to disrespect them and say they were trash and all this. I will say this. They did not work out at Miami. I wish them the best somewhere else. But to me, 7 and 19, they were terrible on defense for us. And here's the problem for us. I don't know if it was Gidry's scheme or them. Because with De'Anna Hill, even though it's what is it called, an FBS school or a smaller school, he played well. He led their team. So this is what I'm glad we're getting an upgrade in defensive backs, but I can't totally blame the players because every week they look confused, and that goes to the coaches. To me, that's scheme. And I hope these players, because what they're saying is Miami is in a purge right now. Let's bring in hold on one second. Let's bring in my boy Finesse too. Forrest Shaw, Finesse. Here we go. Miami's going through a purge right now, and they're getting rid of the players that didn't play well. I don't want to call anybody trash because somebody kids, and a lot of people from the team watch this show. I know this because when I went to the games, a lot of people stopped me and say they listen to Comics on Canes. So I will say this. They're getting rid of the players that didn't play well for the team. Hopefully they play well somewhere else. But I know Finesse, he was kind of celebrating when 7 and 19. I know we were on a Twitter. Me and him were texting back and forth. Finally, it's happened because they just didn't play well. And was that Gidry? Was that them? I don't know, but they did not play well in our defense backfield. Please welcome Finesse, part of the 91 team that won a national championship. What's up, Finesse Mitchell?
What's going on, Michael? What's going on, Forrest?
I'll start off with the question I asked Forrest. We were talking about a lot of people saying we wasted Cam Ward, and me and you talked about that as well. But if you could have any defense that we played this year, whose defense would you have wanted? And that would have meant we still would have been in the playoffs, I believe. We both picked Georgia Tech.
If we would have had Georgia Tech's defense.
If we could have any team's defense we played this year, whose defense would you wanted to have on Miami's side?
Oh,
it's a total hypothetical, but
because I said other than FAMU, if we had any team's defense we played, and that's including South Florida, Ball State.
Oh, that we played.
We would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be Georgia Tech. That we played. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something too? And this is no disrespect to these defensive backs that are, hitting a portal. But when I saw them play, I was like, I can't believe this is the defensive backfield that played for the University of Miami. These guys were like, Gidry looked at them and said, these are the best. It blows me away. It blows me away. We were in that position where Gidry looked at these guys. It was like, this is the best we got. And by the way, Finesse, I got to tell you, my wife said I only can do this podcast for 40 minutes today, so we kind of cruising today. And we're going to take some comments. So go ahead. Say your piece about Gidry. Go, Finesse.
Lance Gidry did a lot with the guys before. I don't know if that was just Cam Kitchens and James Williams, because sometimes those guys were even out of place, but they were pretty amazing tacklers compared to what we had this year in retrospect. I thought his blitzing scheme, and I thought the play of Maui Noah at middle linebacker, I thought the emergence of Ruben Bain, it just made Lance Gidry look phenomenal. And it so much so that we were like, what's going on with Shannon Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to a year later, total 10 steps, 100 steps back. We come in with new players. You have some of the same players, but the what do you call it? The digression, or the whatever you call it. The
step back, the
regression.
Yeah.
Regression, yeah.
There was no reason when you have 100 players on a team to find 11 guys, not only who can tackle, but there's no reason that Lance Gidry could have given at the end of the year that he could have looked back at any game and said, how did we stop? How come we did not stop people from scoring 30 points on us every week, no matter who we played? He has no answer for that. We have no answers for that as fans. It was a big truth bomb, as much as we tried to say, oh, it was a bad week. Oh, they schemed well against us. Or, It was just that something was going on that side of the ball that I don't think could have been fixed. It obviously wasn't fixed, and I didn't see it being fixed going forward with who you had left to choose from, and the incoming freshman. So, you know, Mario had to make a move. You can't remove yourself. So that was a firing that had to happen. Those particular players that are entering the transfer portal, I'm sure it's not by demand from other schools or that they're being offered big money. I'm
No,
sure it's just Mario and those guys, you know, cleaning house. I mean, they can see the same tape we see.
Yep.
And I think that they're not done yet. They're probably going to bring in 2 more defensive backs on the second half of this portal run, and a couple of more players. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't think it's going to be a mad exodus, but I think a lot of people are going to, you know, look to play their college ball elsewhere.
I will say this. Before we jump into next year and things like that, Notre Dame has proven you don't need a great quarterback. To like everybody wants another Cam Ward. This dude threw for 88 yards yesterday. Okay?
Right.
As long as we stack that defense and our running game is good and the dude is just, I mean, decent and can run and get out of trouble, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. So all you people on the boards and everything saying we need another Cam, no, you don't. Notre Dame has proven you don't need a Cam Ward. You just need a competent quarterback. That, look, because Cam Ward made it look too easy, right?
We had Cam Ward and we didn't make the playoffs.
Right, right. But people,
we had Cam Ward and we didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Right. And people have to understand who are fans of the game. Even when I get so infuriated when I'm on Facebook, and I don't know if it's clickbait, but everybody just jumps into the comments. Cam Ward quit on his team.
Oh, stop it.
He's selfish. Oh, my goodness. But I can ignore all of that and get to the people who do know football to say that what we had in that 1 year for that guy to have never played football with any of those guys, to perform like that, to perform like we've had the Gino Torettas, the Ken Dorseys. Yeah. We've had people who were in the system 2 and 3 years before they even touched the field at Miami. And that guy came in one spring and looked like that with our receivers. That means that they put in a lot of work, you know. And so that's why I was kind of shocked at how Emory Williams looked a little flat-footed and a little shell-shocked. I'm like, how can you not have some of that Cam juice rub off on you game after game and practice after practice when you probably knew before we all knew that you were going to go into the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though,
I mean, let me ask you something.
Let me just throw the ball. They only let him throw the ball like 6 times. So
no, he actually. I mean, when it counted, here's the thing.
Yeah.
When it counted, he threw the ball 14 times. But that's when it was last minute, and those are basically trash throws. But it seemed, and this it's kind of going on. What Finesse says, when they had him throw, they were not confident. That's why they ran the ball 9 out of 10 times. You know, and yes, it was working and they were getting yards, and that's the Mario way. I get it, but they showed no confidence. You can't tell me if Cam was in the game at the beginning of that third, they would have ran 10 times in a row, 9 times in a row.
And this is my point with Shannon Dawson. You know, you have to let people know, like Kendra says, sometimes you got to pop out and show people.
Yeah.
It's not that Cam Ward is great in your system. When he put Emory in the game, it made me automatically jump back to last year. It did not look like the same play calling. It did not look like the same. And if you're going to continue to baby people, to ease them into the game with bubble screens and all that stuff, then shame on you, Shannon Dawson. You got to say, hey, Emory, it's the bowl game. It's the last year. I mean, it's the last game. Hey, man, throw the ball around. Let's see what your arm looks like. You know, if you want to just keep running 10 times, I'm all for the run. I said sometimes we should have ran when we were throwing, and sometimes we should throw when we were running. But you were also showcasing Emory, and Emory didn't look good, which made the entire fan base say, oh, snap. Yeah, I was a huge Williams fan. Now what are we going to do? Now what? How are we convince these transfer people to come in here and that our offense is going to be clicking just like last year. There's no confidence now.
Forrest, what's your take on the play calling for Emory?
Yeah, it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. What are they doing? Like it doesn't matter. Like my friend's son, who I've mentioned on this, Jaden Higgins, he's 4th in the NCAA in yards. He played for Iowa State. He wasn't even playing. Like it wasn't a real game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's great that Cam got in there, threw those touchdowns, got the record and stuff like that. Like when he came in the second half and they're just running. It's like, we know Damian Martinez can run. Just throw every down and see what he's got. Like let them like have fun with the game.
Now, let me ask you. Now, this is a great comment by Angel Serrano. Thank you for listening every single week. I appreciate you. I noticed the name. Have we lost all faith in Emory? After 30 minutes, have we just written off Emory? Both of you. I'll start with Forrest. Have you written them off?
I haven't written them off. I mean, I haven't written them off because I was thinking back to the FSU game, the 2 years ago. I'm not writing him off because I don't think he got a chance. Like they let him throw 1 out of 10 plays, and then at the very end of the game, hey, go win this thing now. It's like, what? Like you didn't even like to what Finesse was saying. You're not even calling good plays from me, And so I'm not writing him off yet, but I would like to see. I know there's some other options that they're looking at. I know they're looking at this kid Ewers maybe from Texas because they're saying Arch Manning is gonna start next year no matter what. And he's not terrible. I mean, he's not like Cam Ward, but he's got experience and he's accurate. But so I'm not writing him off yet.
All right, Finesse.
What did you learn? What did you learn on a national televised game when you were trying to make decisions for yourself for next year and to be more attractive to people who were considering transferring to Miami? What did you learn? You learned absolutely nothing. You told everybody that he's an accurate pocket passer. I didn't see that. You told everybody he was ready to start. I didn't see that either, because you handed the ball off 20,000 times and then tried to make him throw on 3rd down, and he had poor choices. I mean, he made poor decisions in that game. Emory did. I think we were texting back and forth, Michael, like, yo, throw the ball downfield. Let's at least try to get a pass interference call.
I know that was, but that's football IQ. But that's Dawson. That's not the court. That's Dawson saying, like, if I was a coach and we're in that position, like me and Finesse was saying, just throw it. Hope for a pass interference. Because if you get that, you get to move the ball. And then, it was definitely, like, I don't know, and I'm going to sound like the Miami fan base right now, and I hate sounding like this because I'm very objective to what I say, and I really think it out. But we don't know how good Dawson is. Because how many times in a press conference they go, so Cam threw that touchdown pass in the corner and did it, and he goes, oh, that was Cam. I mean, how many times was Dawson in a press conference saying, oh, I didn't call that. That was Cam.
Right.
Oh, Cam did that himself.
I think we realized, and we actually saw in real time, Dawson's plays being ran, Cam leaving the pocket, and then those guys knowing what to do when he leaves the pocket and Cam making an accurate throw. That doesn't look like a Dawson play to me. That looks like Jacoby George and Xavier Restrepo changing field of direction and running all of a sudden towards a corner or towards the sideline, and Cam putting the ball on.
It's backyard ball. It became backyard ball. So my take on Emory, I'm not fully giving up on Emory, but I will say this, because it was a bad 30 minutes, and I think it was more about the play calling. Emory did, when he passed, though, early, look slow. He didn't know how to read. I don't know if that was coming in. I tried to compare it, Finesse, and Forrest, you would know about this, as you going after a Bill Burr, a Chris Rock, like in stand-up. First time you do that, you're nervous because the expectations are so high. Then once you do it over and over again, you're like, oh, that's no problem. I know how to handle that now. That was his first time going in.
You never get invited back because they realize you're too funny, and then they'll rather just get somebody not as funny.
100%. 100%. But yes, we've all been through that too. But what I'm saying is this was his first time coming in after Cam. I'm not going to write him off, but I will say this. They need to bring in competition. They need to bring in somebody that we all feel through the portal like that's our starter. And if Emory beats him out, he beats him out because I'm down for that. I haven't lost all faith, but he needs a lot of competition because what worried me the most is not hold on. What worried me the most is not losing that game. It was how bad Emory played. That's the takeaway I took. Go ahead, Finesse.
Right. I was getting ready to say, what did we learn after that showing? I learned that Emory Williams did not look like every other college quarterback playing in the playoffs or in a who gives a damn bowl. He did not look like them. So if you're not looking like the quarterbacks from BYU, Iowa State, Arizona State, these boys were on the move. White, black, whatever. They were on the move. They were accurate. They were not accurate. It didn't matter. Emory looked shell-shocked. He made decisions late. He barely moved his feet, and he wasn't accurate. So it was just like, oh, man, what are we watching right now? And is that the starting quarterback that C.J. Daniels just committed to? And
let me cut you off real quick. The day after that game, KC Concepcion said he's going to A&M.
Yeah.
And I think that game had a lot to do with it. He was going to say, okay, let me see what this quarterback got. He saw what he did the very next morning. He committed to A&M. So I honestly believe we lost. If Emory would have lit it up, I think we have KC Concepcion right now.
Right. And then that's also Dawson's fault. Like, stop babying, these people who've been in your system for 2-3 years. This guy's been walking around UM for 3 years. Put him in the game, let him throw the ball. Let's see what we have. Now we're like back at, I think we're not even at square one now. Now we're like, oh, snap. We need to find some quarterbacks. And who's available? Who's out there? Who knows? Nobody, right? Really?
Oh, okay. Because Forrest has all the names that we're looking at in the portal and different coaches and stuff. But I want to read some of these comments. We are live, so bring them on right now. Yusef says, Finesse, he was put in an awkward spot first. We all want him to be like Jim Kelly. No, I don't believe that. And I'll let Finesse speak on it. But we just want him to be competent when he was in the game and show that he learned something and he took a step back.
Confident. You have to be confident. You had to be confident in the only thing I felt like he was confident was the little bubble screen. But we've seen that from Emory. Show me something else. When Emory got in the game when we played, it was either Ball State or Miami of Ohio. I don't know who we were beating bad. And he threw the ball down the field to Lofton, the tight end.
Yeah.
That was dead on the money. I'm like, okay, let's see that.
He was throwing dots that game.
Dots. And if Shannon Dawson would have put Emory in the game and didn't treat him like, okay, we're going to do 5 runs in a row, and then you're going to throw a bubble screen. I was like, man, we're not trying to win this game.
He treated Emory as don't lose the game rather than go out there and win the game. That's what happened. All right, Dawson's offense doesn't work with Emory. 818 Cali Kane, you need to be more specific on that. Thank you, because you hit us up every show. I want to know, Cali Kane, exactly what you're talking about. What is it about? Is it the IQ thing? What do you think, Forrest?
I'll keep saying it again. I still blame Shannon, not Emory, because just like Finesse is saying, it might as well be called the Pop-Tart Scrimmage Bowl, because every bowl game that's not the playoffs now is I watch it. I'm just like, okay, I wasn't even mad when we lost. I was like, all right, there's a Pop-Tart going down a truck and then a giant one shooting out and they eat it. It's like, it's ridiculous, and then, Alabama lost to Michigan. Did they? I don't know. Everyone's just sitting players and stuff. So the bowl games have gotten so insane now. If they're not playoff games where
let's be honest, they're meaningless now.
Yeah.
What bowl games should be is an audition for next year, but that's what Emory got.
Yeah.
Audition for next year.
You're in the top 12. You're not really playing.
But he didn't. So if I'm Shannon Dawson, it's like, all right, let's throw some stuff downfield. Let's get the tight end incorporated. Hey, let's go for it on 4th down when we're on the 30 or what? Who cares?
Who cares?
And they were playing it like it was a real, better kick a field goal. It's like, what? Just go for it. Go for it. Who cares? Like, it's just silly, you know. So I don't. That's why I'm not totally giving up on Emory yet, but I would love to see other options.
Let me hit up some of these comments. They're starting to flood in now. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Please, please, please. It does this show a lot. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you want to throw out a super chat, we love those as well. Alex Smith, he looked uncomfortable when we needed points. Imagine him against Notre Dame. Look, everybody's already talking about the Notre Dame game next year. You don't even know how their team's going to look next year. You don't even know how our team. I'm not even worried about Notre Dame. If we get, like I said, Notre Dame is proven right now, you don't need a Cam Ward. You just need a competent quarterback that can run a little and get the ball to the receivers. Because I believe we're going to have good receivers. I think our defense, it has to be better. And our run game and offensive line, and I actually think our defensive trenches will be way better next year with a defensive coordinator. So I'm not even worried about that. Before you jump in, Finesse and Forrest, I want to read some other comments, and then y'all can comment about anything.
I wasn't going to say nothing.
I can tell once your lips start perking. This is when I know you about to talk. Look, you start. All right, here we go. Ole Miss, they thought it was the CFP playing dart up to. Oh yeah, Ole Miss wanted to make a point, and they wanted to blow out Duke, and they did. They did. But remember, we blew out Duke too. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. Again, Emory, just watch Cam put up 31 and a half, and the kid had to be nervous. I mean, it's hard. It's hard coming in after Cam. Dawson might get exposed without Cam. I think Dawson will be exposed without Cam, but it'll be a different team where he can rely on the run more because he's going to have that offensive line gets better and better. He's going to have a great offensive line, and I think you'll have a competent quarterback, whoever that is, to get the quick passes. Because let's be honest. If you look at the Notre Dame model, I feel like that's how Mario wants his team. Like, kind of like that. You know, not flashy. Cam was just on another level. But, they just beat you down the whole game. And I see that for us. And I'm not even worried about Notre Dame next year. All right. My wife said I only got 13 minutes left. So, Forrest, who are we looking at for DC right now?
The only thing it hasn't changed since we got cut off when we were talking about Gidry the other day. The only person I know everyone was like wanted the Purdue coach, and his name just getting me right. He's gone. He's going over to Washington or Washington State. I forget. And was the Georgia Tech? And I'll pull his name up again. That's the only one that I've seen mentioned.
The other one that's in the mix is that and we don't really know, but Tim Banks is being named a lot from Tennessee. Defensive coordinator, had top 10 defense, number 3 this year in the SEC. And rumors are he's open to come down to South Florida. The only thing is this is the last year of his contract. So I just think it's a contract move, like you always do. So
yeah. And here's another one. He's with the Eagles, Clint Hurt. They're saying he's there as an assistant. This is Eagles in the NFL, they're just mentioning names now. This is not like this is people. I feel this is more like who people like or kind of want or something, more than any sort of thing that we're gonna know. I think it'll shape out here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll start to.
The problem is for us, we got recruits coming in, and we got these Branch brothers, that are in town. And if you're a safety, like the brother, I mean, you got two. You got one's a receiver, one's a safety, and you're like, well, who's the defensive coordinator and who's your quarterback?
Okay,
it's hard to nail down recruits when you don't even know who your quarterback or defensive coordinator is.
Now, the Branch brothers, you mentioned them from USC. They're visiting Miami. They've already visited Georgia, Arizona State, Tennessee, Texas. So they're hitting all these. And Arizona State looked fun the other day to be part of. And and that quarterback's a freshman, but they are a package deal. Okay. Right. And now the receiver, I think the receiver is Zach.
He's the stud. The receiver is the stud.
The number 2 wide receiver in the portal and number 3 player in the nation. They're a package deal. His brother, who's a safety, is the number 23 safety and the number 250.
He's been dealing with a bunch of injuries and stuff like that. But
I'm not worried. I don't think they're worried about. That's not a defensive coordinator thing. That's a offensive. Who's throwing me the ball?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Finesse, what's your take so far?
On the Branch brothers or just
Yeah.
in general?
I mean,
I saw there were two people that I've seen in a Under Armour bowl that stood out to me. Really stood out. Like I can't wait to see what they do. And that was Saint Amon Ra, whatever his name is. He plays for Detroit, and the other one was Zachariah Branch, and I think they both went out to USC.
Yeah.
You can see. I have watched living in Cali. I've seen games where I've seen Branch take back a kickoff and a punt, and you just see the speed. He looks like Concepcion out there.
Yeah.
Heard of his brother. Never seen his brother play, but if they brothers, I'm sitting in front of a coach saying, yeah, but what about my brother? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that's why they're going together to these different schools and sitting down probably at the same time and saying, but what are the chances my brother's starting? You know what I mean? That's what I think is going on there. I don't feel us nailing him down unless we write him a check that he can't refuse. I don't see him locking in with Miami without a defensive coordinator in place or a quarterback. You know what I mean? Either one of those guys. You know, I think they're visiting Miami and South Beach. That's what I think.
And see, the problem is it's hard for me, unless a kid really wants to go to Miami, or unless they're like letting them know we got somebody good coming for sure. Like you can't nail down a top rate wide receiver. We got lucky with CJ Daniels because he bought into the hype of Emory Williams. Right. I'm surprised we haven't lose him to be honest with you. You know. Right. So that just shows he wants to be at Miami. They got to figure out the quarterback position. But more than that, once they name a DC, and this is what I believe, because they were supposed to have this linebacker. I don't know his name. All you people watching, you know the name. You can leave it in the comments. That was supposed to come in, and then they canceled that trip. They said they're not interested for whatever reason. And the rumor was because they know who the defensive coordinator is, and he's going to bring some people from wherever he is. My thing about defensive coordinator, I said it in the last podcast that cut off, I don't want any more up-and-coming people that might be great. We need proven people now, okay? Mario has had 3 out of the last 4 years, 3 different defensive coordinators. That's terrible track record, Mario. So you need to get this one right. You need to get someone experience. I don't want to hear about anybody that's on our staff that's never been a defensive coordinator being moved up to defensive coordinator. Get someone proven, pay the money so you can have a guy 4 or 5 years that is all about the defense, and boom, you're done.
Mm-hmm. I think he was a little gun shy with the Kevin Steele and then the guy from Michigan, both 2 highly touted guys, and then they came into Miami and literally probably just did not work. They did not have Mario Cristobal's work ethic, and it showed on the field, and they were in and out of here. And then Shannon Dawson and Lance Gidry, like I said, Gidry looked like a stud in his opening year, his first year. Shannon Dawson looked a little shaky. We get Cam Ward. Now Shannon looks like a stud, and Gidry looks like trash because he could not make adjustments after 4, 5, 6, 7 games. No adjustments, not at halftime, not at getting prepared for the next game. And then lastly, moving forward, I do feel like Mario has a clue. Mario doesn't seem like the willy-nilly guy. He seems like he always has that, here's my rabbit out of a hat, and here's my hire, but we couldn't announce it. So I feel like he's actually telling people this is what's coming, and some people know, and we just don't know yet.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. By the way, entered the transfer portal quarterback?
Who?
Tyler Van Dyke.
Pass.
He did it a couple weeks ago. So
yeah,
if he comes back to Miami, that would be awesome.
I think awesomely bad. Awesomely bad.
I don't know why he was throwing all those picks, man. That was just crazy to me. All of a sudden, just throw pick after pick.
818 Cali Kane says USC has a trash wide receiver coach compared to Beard. That's one thing Miami has, a great wide. Beard is the man. Great wide receiver coach. All right, Forrest, before we end this thing, any other portal players that you've been hearing where we might be looking at or that could be coming to Miami to visit?
Well, I mean, the only other thing I've read, I was looking at quarterbacks mainly because that to me, that's right now is like we've been talking about quarterback and defensive coordinator. We need those 2 things. Those are the pieces we need.
Yeah.
to get, like, if we could land a quarterback that has some sort of weight to him or something, then Branch maybe is not just taking a trip to South Beach.
Do you think? Hold on, Forrest.
Yeah.
Forrest and Finesse. Do you think that $6 million offer for Urs was from Miami?
I don't know.
From who?
Miami.
The quarterback at Texas.
There's a rumor that the quarterback from Texas has been offered $6 million after the season to go someplace.
Oh, and he not getting that from the U.
No, I didn't think so either.
Yeah. No. I think Texas A&M is in the race for. They're saying if Arch Manning's going to be the starter next year, which is what they say is probably going to happen, that I think Miami has entered the chat for him, but I believe Texas A&M is the number one team for him. And they got the money, Texas A&M. If someone's got $6 million and right down the street is probably.
And
that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the pageantry of that game? He goes to the rival school and then beats them. Oh, that's beautiful, man. That would be the most watched game.
Texas A&M is going to be stacked, bro. They have a new coach. They just have a new attitude. I like the direction they're going in. I like what Florida did in the with just getting like 6 of the top 10 players out of the state of Florida. And Miami, I mean, bro, we're not going to have a FSU season, but if we're not careful, we could have
7-5.
Yeah, no, did we even make 500 season?
Yeah.
Because everybody's getting better. I do feel like we have studs on defense. I just feel like we need to bring in the right defensive coordinator.
And don't forget our offensive line, though. I mean, you're going to be able to run.
Bro, if we get that one center, and I don't care if we get either just that center, we need that center. If we get him, we good on the O-line.
Yeah.
And I love our running backs. 2 things I want to see happen for next year, and I'll keep this brief. If we go with Emory has to move around a little bit.
Yeah.
And he just has to throw the ball downfield. And then 2, and this is huge, and I hope one day Mario stumbles upon this clip. You can't look like a deer in headlights in serious situations because the camera is always on you in games, and he always looks like he's not the head coach. I don't like that. I saw Steve Sarkisian grab his kicker and give him a little pep talk before he went out there and missed the damn field goal again. But to me, I said, that's what coaches do. I saw the coach from Notre Dame rush his team out onto the field at the last minute to try to make Georgia jump offside.
Beautiful.
I said, that is well thought out, planned practice, and it's strategy. I don't see that from Miami.
No.
I don't see a head coach going over and kneeling down in front of a player and saying, hey, bud, you're going to be okay. We got this. I just see Mario wearing a headset and looking left and right. And you can't do that. You have to put on a show as well.
Yeah.
The players have to put on a show, but nowadays your head coach has to look like he is in charge and has a personal relationship with these players. Not just Dawson, not just Gidry. Yo, go over to the defensive line team sitting on the bench and say, hey, guys, are we alive? Like, look, be animated. Make it seem like you're involved in this game. And I wish that he would improve that in his coaching.
All right. My wife is home. So I got to go. She got to go play bingo. But Forrest, thank you. Finesse, thank you. Tell everybody where you're going to both be performing. Forrest, you go first.
I want to say just one thing real quick.
Okay.
We were a failed targeting call away from the SEC not being in the Final Four, and that made me so happy. That was, I don't know who they called in to not get that a targeting call, but they did, and then they won. Texas moved on. I'm gonna be at where the hell am I gonna be? I'm gonna be in at the Denver Comedy Works.
Great club.
Just for one night only on Sunday with my friend Al Jackson. We're doing a show, and it's January 26th. That's a show I want everybody to come out. It's on my website, forrestshaw.net. I've got a bunch of other shows on there, but that's when I need people to come out to. So
okay, Finesse, what's up?
I'm about to be snowed in, but I am at the Kansas City. I'm at the Comedy Club of Kansas City. The Comedy Club, Kansas City. I don't know. I'm there tonight and tomorrow, Saturday. And then next weekend, I am in Cleveland with Tisha Campbell at the Cleveland Funny Bone. Everybody come on out, get your tickets.
All right. And I'm going to be next weekend. I will be in Kansas City at the Funny Bone. And then the week after, this for all the Miami Hurricane fans, because I know we have a huge fan base in Orlando for Comics on Canes. I will be at the Orlando Funny Bone January 17th and 18th. Come on out. Let's throw up the U. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a super chat, all that good stuff. You'll get a big shout out. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. All right.